I'm Jake, and this is
Neverland Navigation Radio.
And today we're getting spooky and comparing two of Disney's spooky seasonal offerings,
Yeah.
which are
Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party
and
Oogie Boogie Bash.
Woo!
So the first one's in Walt Disney World, and the second one's in Disneyland, and they're similar but different.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about it.
We thought it might be interesting to talk about the differences because, you know, they've got this event that's kind of similar on each coast.
Yeah.
But there are some differences between them. So if you were ever wondering, if you were ever curious about how one compares to the other, then this is the episode for you.
Yeah, and I had no idea, but this was the first year that I did Oogie Boogie Bash. So now I've got firsthand experience of both. And can really break it down.
Yes, and I have never been to Oogie Boogie Bash, but I have been to Not So Scary on a couple different occasions. So if as someone who is a Walt Disney World, you know, only local so far, I'm very interested to hear how Oogie Boogie Bash compares because that's truly my curiosity.
And I don't think the information is really out there in a way where it's just going to slap you in the face.
No.
Right? Like,
I don't think so.
On social media, sometimes you'll find out stuff just because it's like slapping you in the face. Like
someone made a TikTok.
Yeah, like Paris has an awesome Disney drone show, and like you can't not know that if you're on Disney social medias because it's everywhere.
I know, I see it all the time.
Right, but this, you know, Oogie Boogie exists. But I didn't know the differences.
Yeah, I haven't seen very much. The most I've seen is that people like to post videos of the character, like, you know how they have like a themed area where you go and a character is talking to the crowd a little bit. Yeah.
I can't wait to talk about that. And was that not new this year?
No, I've seen videos in the past of those for a couple different characters, and that's the only thing I've ever seen about Oogie Boogie Bash. I don't know like anything else.
That's fascinating to me. I assumed that this was the first year because if they've been doing it, why aren't we doing it at Walt Disney World? But I will get into that when we get there.
All right. Before we dive in, we did want to say thank you so much for listening. If you're on YouTube, thank you so much for watching the visual version of the podcast. On the YouTube Neverland Navigation Co. YouTube channel, we upload a visual version of the podcast every single week. If you're watching there, thank you so much. If you could like the video, comment about, I don't know, have you been to a Halloween event? Are you curious about how one compares to the other? That would help us a lot. And if you're on a listening platform like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, then subscribing to the podcast feed and also leaving us a review is super helpful to us, and we love reading the reviews, so we would love to see you guys on the reviews as well.
Yeah, and if you're going to take a vacation, whether it's Disney or not Disney, send me an email at neverlandnavigationco@gmail.com. I am a free-to-you travel agent, and I can get you the same deal as you would get yourself or better. So before you click that checkout button, think about sending me a message, because if I click that for you, you get free custom trip t-shirts from my 5-star Etsy store. So bonus, right?
Yeah, maybe you need a seasonally appropriate Disney shirt.
Yeah. Costume shirt. Yeah.
And that's reason enough to get a travel agent, just for the free t-shirt.
Yeah.
But the planning services are also obviously
included. Yeah.
You know, that's really a draw. And especially if you're doing like a party or something. Yeah. Yes. And it's free. There's a lot of details, you know. You can enter the party at this time or whatever.
Right.
A travel agent will know all that.
Right, and have recommendations and stuff like that. But I'm also not pushy, so
that's an important distinction.
Yeah.
All right, are we ready to jump into this comparison here?
I'm ready. I found this so fascinating, how the difference is.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear. Some of your experience, because I also haven't talked to you at all about your experience at Oogie Boogie Bash. So this will be a fun way for me to find out how you enjoyed it.
I came back to a hurricane, so it's been a bit.
We've been a little busy.
Yeah.
All right. My first question to you is: How does the pricing compare for each event? Mickey's Not So Scary versus Oogie Boogie Bash.
So this year, the Mickey's Not So Scary party was ranged between $119 per person and $199.
Mm-hmm.
That's with the 119 being like in August and the 199 being on like Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
And then Oogie Boogie Bash, it started at 134, so a little higher, but ended with its highest being 189, so slightly lower.
Okay.
So
Weird.
yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, about the same.
Yeah, comparable.
I thought this year it was more expensive, but that's just because of when we went. You and I have gone in September to get the lower price and to be able to record and share information.
Yeah.
This year I went in October. So
Right. Gotcha.
price goes up.
So that's important to know that the price fluctuates. It's not always the
Yeah,
same.
it is important because you've got to decide about your priorities. You could go in August and it'd be cheaper, but it's not really going to feel like Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's going to be hotter and stuff like that. There's things to take into consideration.
Here in Florida in August, it's just it feels like summertime.
Yeah,
100%.
I think in set, like especially after the halfway point in September, it feels a little more Halloween in my world. But I totally understand doing it in August, though. I'm not saying I don't get that.
Oh
It
yeah.
just totally depends on your priorities and when you're doing your trip and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's cool that if you are taking a trip in August, maybe, and you love
Yeah.
Halloween, it's cool that you have the option to go
You
to the
could,
party.
I mean, people could almost go before school even starts if you need to work around your kid's school trip, which is, or school summer vacation, which is wild. But
It's to kick off your Halloween
to kick off the
celebrations
school year. Yeah.
and to kick off the school year. Fun. All right, cool.
Your kid may grow out of their costume by the time actual Halloween rolls around.
In those couple months.
Yeah.
Yeah. August is crazy.
Yeah.
Speaking of time, how many hours do you get at each event? What is the time like? Because this is a separately ticketed party, so after normal park hours for the day have concluded, or event park hours for the day have concluded, and the event hours begin, how much time do you get at each?
So Oogie Boogie states that they do 6 to 11, and Mickey's Not So Scary does 7 to 12. So it's the same amount of hours. It makes no sense to me at all. That I'm a little mind blown by this.
Okay.
Because like you and I are always talking about how we're so frustrated that Disney World closes so early when Disneyland stays open so late. Disneyland is kind of known for staying open until midnight.
Yeah.
California Adventure is kind of known for staying open until midnight.
Mm-hmm.
So for them to close earlier than I'm used to them closing for a separately ticketed event seems wild to me.
And Halloween just seems like a nighttime type of thing.
Right. And at 6 o'clock it was full on bright outside. You know what I mean? So the 7 to 11 makes a lot more sense to me. So like if we were doing a comparison, I would give this one to Not So Scary.
Gotcha.
That being said, I'm sure people with little kids appreciate the earlier hours.
Yes, absolutely. And that is definitely, this is not Halloween Horror Nights. This is for families.
Right.
So I can definitely understand. But as I don't know, as someone who doesn't care about that.
Yeah, right.
For me, I'm like, well, keep it open.
Yeah, and I mean, they're normally open late, so I don't know. It's
weird for them to close early for the event.
Yeah.
That is definitely interesting. And if you are a regular, if you don't have a ticket for the event, then you have to leave the park, earlier than
by 6,
than you would normally. Well, so that's important to remember.
They kick out regular people at Walt Disney World at 6 o'clock for the 7 o'clock party. I don't know that they kicked people out at 5 out of California Adventure. It might have been 6.
Oh, really?
But I'm not sure about that. You know what I mean? I'm not as familiar with all of the nuances of, Disneyland. So.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of rules, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So that's good. It's interesting that you do get the same amount of hours at each party. That's good.
Well, I'm sure that that's purposeful.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't understand their decision of making them different. But I'm sure that they had... I'm sure they had a reason.
Yeah, I like the hours here at Walt Disney World as well.
Yeah.
Something I didn't love about the party here at Walt Disney World, Mickey's Not So Scary, is that we have been let down time and time again by food dining options at Mickey's Not So Scary.
Agreed. The food is like Instagrammable, but not good.
Right.
But wait till you hear
Whimsical.
about the Disneyland themed food options. There are almost none.
Really?
It's like, so I built the itinerary for my family who all went to this, right?
Okay.
And I put on the itinerary for dinner after we had discussed what everybody wanted, and there's a lot of talk in the planning. But I made a lunch-ish reservation at like 1:30 or 2 o'clock for Lamplight Lounge, and then put dinner, we'll just have festival food or quick serve or whatever because we're going to be doing the party.
Yeah.
Well, I expected there to be a lot of festival food.
Yes.
And there was almost none.
Huh, that is strange.
There are very few things, and the few of the things that they had were festival exclusives and were like chicken strips with sauce. They weren't even like named spookily.
Oh.
Like here.
Weird.
In Disney World, like they would do there was like a Hades hot dog with like purple mustard, and
we'll always remember that one because it scarred us for life.
Well, and it was crazy.
It
right?
was so crazy.
Yeah, and they did like a burger on a black bun. Like they were trying to be spooky.
Crazy colors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here, the
eyeballs.
spookiest, most themed option is a poison apple churro, which that sounds like a nice theme. It works. It's got like a drizzle on it. But I just was shocked. So we actually wound up just doing not festival food, but quick serve, and it was kind of disappointing.
No. Yeah. Were you in California Adventure?
Yeah. They do have some good options.
Where did you get quick serve?
We got quick serve at the Cozy Cone Motel.
Okay, I've heard that that's pretty good.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was okay.
It was just okay.
Yeah.
All right. Did you get one of those cone things that they fill with like?
You know what? It was Flo's V8 Cafe.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's different.
Yeah.
So what did they have in Flo's? What is that?
Like burgers and sandwiches and stuff like that.
Okay, got it. Just like regular quick serve.
The Cozy Cone, it does have like mac and cheese and like a cone and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which does look good. It felt very heavy for everything we were like doing and running. We had already, eaten a lot of candy and stuff like that.
You know how it is.
So that didn't seem like the right choice, but
okay.
Anyway.
Got it. Understood. Okay, that's good to know. So they didn't have a lot. It's crazy to me because it can't be understated. At our Halloween party at Mickey's Not So Scary, there's theme dining almost everywhere.
There are like 60 options, I feel like. I'm probably exaggerating, but there's a lot.
There's a whole map just for food at Mickey's Not So Scary.
Yeah.
So that is really surprising to me because I just kind of assumed that was just normal for Disney.
I know.
They're just trying to make extra money off the tourists.
It's so weird. It's so weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess we're more, maybe because of the whole Epcot thing, people have more of an expectation for like the snacks and the like, I don't know.
Interesting. Although I'd rather them do one really good churro, I guess, than like a bunch of like bad, like it's a buffalo, not to name this because this was actually pretty good.
Actually, this
is a buffalo chicken Pop-Tart with an eyeball on it.
Yeah.
But that was really
That
good.
was actually themed. Here, let me see if I can look up some.
It wasn't like gourmet amazing. It was just like,
it was weird because it was buffalo chicken with like, wasn't it like a sugar eyeball?
The eyeball was sugary, yeah. That was weird. But the buffalo chicken itself and the coating, it was pretty good. And I think
Bailey loved it.
I think we liked it so much because a lot of the other things we tried were bad though.
Yeah. That was the problem, and a lot of them were really sweet, which is, I understand the thought process. You're like, oh, Halloween's all about sugar, Halloween's all about candy. But when you've had so much candy, you physically need something else to kind of soak it up or whatever.
Absolutely. Maybe that is why we liked it so much, because it was kind of spicy and proteiny.
So garlic Parmesan chicken strips, I don't get it.
That's not scary.
I don't. You didn't even try to name it.
Because vampires hate garlic.
I don't get that.
Because orange is Halloween.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Maybe you're right. Oh my god, that's so dumb. It's just like orange chicken.
Oh
You know
my
what I
god,
mean?
you're
Like
right. That's
Asian.
so dumb.
It is.
It is dumb. Well, at least they
Then they
tried.
had the Minnie Mouse Hocus Pocus
Oh,
Halloween
okay.
sipper, but that's not really a snack. That's like
Oh my god,
a
it's
theme.
$34.
Yeah, yeah. And they did have
Wow.
but this wasn't exclusive. They also had a popcorn bucket that was one of the characters from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Okay.
And then, yeah, that was, I mean, I don't know. It's just shocking. Like,
Yeah,
this
they
is
have
the,
like nothing.
yeah.
That's crazy. That is definitely crazy.
That's
I
the
did
end
not
of that
expect that.
article.
I can see why you were surprised because we're spoiled for choice over here.
And I just couldn't imagine that would be something that was different.
Yeah, right? Doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Maybe that'll change.
Look at these chicken strips. They're just chicken strips.
We're just looking
at
at pictures of chicken strips.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Don't mind us.
There's the churro. That looks cool.
Okay, the poison apple churro, it's like green. The churro itself is green, and it's got like a candy apple red drizzle all over it. It does look spooky. It does look good for Halloween.
Yeah.
So hey, at least they gave their all to that one.
Yeah, and churros is what they're known for.
Right. So if you're gonna get something right.
Yeah, they do have themed Halloween food at Disneyland. I just expected more Oogie Boogie exclusives. So I don't want to say that there's not, because there is.
Yeah.
Like I got a Mickey pumpkin macaroon. I'm saying that wrong. I've been taught how to say it. I always forget. Yeah, right?
That's crazy.
Oh my gosh. No,
for us Florida people, we don't talk like that.
Yeah,
like that is wild.
But I have asked somebody in like the France pavilion in Epcot, which one is because there's the one with the coconut.
Yes.
Anyway,
those are macaroons.
Yeah. I don't know. Don't hold us to that.
That's okay.
But anyway, I had a Mickey pumpkin, mac or whatever, at Jolly Holiday, and it was really good and very cute.
Everything I hear about Jolly Holiday, people say it's good.
Yeah, so. It's good. But anyway, they do have stuff. A lot of it's in Disneyland. Their Halloween themed food, which is fine. It's just that's not where the party is.
Yes.
The party's in California Adventure.
And although there is Halloween food in Disney World too.
Yeah.
It's just also when there is the Halloween party, we have a bunch of Halloween party exclusives.
It's like part of what you paid for.
Right.
Yeah.
Same with Halloween Horror Nights. They do the same thing. During park hours, you can't buy the Halloween food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bailey wanted one of those little marshmallow guys.
Oh, from Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
But you can't.
You cannot. You have to go. You have to get scared out of your mind to have one of those. They will not let you.
It's kind of like a reward.
I guess.
But no, seriously. So our expectation is always that there will be a lot of exclusive food. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
I have a question that is particularly pertinent to my interests, which is, what is the entertainment situation like at Oogie Boogie Bash? So at Nikki's Not So Scary Halloween, we have a nighttime fireworks spectacular, a live musical show in front of the castle, a parade, and do we have any Halloween exclusive? We have a Halloween exclusive
dance party.
Is that what it is?
Over in Tomorrowland?
I was like, we don't have a show, do we?
Is that wait, what do you mean?
You know what
There's the Hocus Pocus show, but you already mentioned stage show.
I already mentioned that. You know what I was actually thinking of, which is kind of funny? I was thinking of the Nightmare Before Christmas sing-along thing. But that's at Jollywood Nights in Hollywood Studios. So no, we don't have like an exclusive show.
Wrong to me.
Overlay thing. But yeah, that is weird, huh?
I think of A Nightmare Before Christmas as being Halloween.
Well,
but it's debatable.
They did the set all spooky.
Yes,
like it was a Halloween show. They didn't do it like a
You're
Christmas
totally
show.
right.
It was like blacklit in there.
And here's the thing: this doesn't answer your question. I will jump back to your question.
Okay.
But here's a thing that I found unexpected.
Okay.
So you hear Mickey's Not So Scary in Disney World, Oogie Boogie Bash in Disneyland. In my head, I expected more Nightmare Before Christmas stuff.
Oh, is there not?
No.
That is weird. I assumed the same.
Yeah, you've got Haunted Mansion Holiday, but again, that's at Disneyland, not at California Adventure. And there's that beautiful sign before you get into California Adventure that's got the Oogie Boogie, a picture of Oogie Boogie.
Oh, the big Oogie Boogie.
You've seen it. Everybody's seen it.
Yeah.
It's on social media.
That's the only thing I know, yeah.
And then they do like some smoke and they project him sometimes, Oogie Boogie, they project him sometimes onto like one of the buildings on like their main street. I'm using air quotes for those of you listening. You know what I mean? It's
Oh, in California Adventure.
yeah, it's not a
Okay.
main street, but
Yeah,
it's
Hollywood Land or what? Hollywood whatever Boulevard.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
it's not that, but it's the equivalent. I got you. Main
Yeah.
Street. Yeah. So
But
these just
yeah,
projections and a sign.
I expected I mean, okay, so we have that.
We have a lot, kind of.
We have that fireworks show that is hosted by this amazing puppet Jack Skellington.
He's great.
He's so like the first time you see him, if you haven't already seen him on social media, I was mind blown.
Yeah, he's really cool.
I didn't even understand at that time that he was a puppet. I'm like, how does he look like this? This is amazing.
And
he's
he moves
walking
so
and
fluidly.
yes, talking.
And his limbs are so skinny.
And he
You're
looks
like,
exactly like he just walked out of the movie, which
Yeah.
is like impossible to do with this character. They cannot perfect like the meet and greet one.
Oh,
but
yeah.
this guy is amazing.
He's great.
They don't have that. So here's the entertainment thing. And I hate to do a negative on a negative if you think the lack of themed food is a negative.
It's
although
okay.
although I'm not sure that I can even call that a negative, since all of the festival themed food we had at Walt Disney World felt like a waste of money.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. So really
they didn't take my money for bad food. I'll give them that.
Yeah, we should be grateful.
Yeah, I should be grateful.
Yeah.
But the entertainment is the big like wah wah for this whole situation.
No.
That being said, I know in past years they have done a World of Color show that they changed into like a fireworks show that was Halloween themed, but this year they did not do that.
Oh.
So here's the entertainment that we had.
Okay.
Parade.
That's it.
Yeah.
No.
Unless you're counting the character experiences, which I will get to because I love that.
Yeah.
Or there was something called Villains Grove.
Okay.
Which have you heard of this?
No.
Okay, I hadn't heard of it either, and it is maybe one of the weirdest things I've ever done.
Yeah, why are they in the Grove?
Yeah, I don't.
What are they doing in there?
It's crazy. I want to find Disney's description of it, because on the map, which I felt like I put in here, but yeah, I don't know. It doesn't matter.
All right.
I think this is it. I think this is their description of it. It makes your mind think one thing's going to happen and then it's not. This says your awe-inspiring adventure begins the moment you cross through the arched entrance into a place of twisting vines and roots, meander through the woods, misty turns and curves that reveal the bewitching world inspired by popular Disney villains, including Dr. Facilier, Frollo, Scar, and the Wicked Queen, and others. Actually, that's not the description that was in the map, because I remember it saying that it's more spooky than scary.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, okay, so there's villains, but they're warning you that it's a little scary.
But it's not like it's not a haunted house.
Right. That's what I was getting. I'm not gonna get a jump scare, but I am gonna see villains kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's what I was getting.
Okay, cool.
So yes.
I like the idea of that.
Yes, I liked the idea of it too. But in reality, they took an area of their like Redwoods area of California Adventure.
This park is California themed.
Yes.
And
put a ton of beautiful lights. They're like Christmas twinkle lights, but they would, like, one section would be purple and then one section would be orange.
Halloween color scheme.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, got it.
And each little area, like, that had the different colors would be vaguely themed to a villain. There was no actual costumed villain.
Oh.
It was really just walking through very beautiful lights and mist.
Okay, so I get that.
So that was...
Was there like audio of them like saying stuff?
There was audio of music, but it wasn't their songs. I don't believe there was audio of them saying stuff.
Okay.
I also think the experience was probably dampened by the fact that I think most people went into it, didn't really understand what was happening, and just kind of like walked through pretty fast.
Sounds strange.
So weird.
Yeah.
It was so weird.
Okay, so maybe.
So it's like going on a hike through a bunch of lights.
Yeah, it's like a like, you know how you go like if you have a neighborhood near you that's got a lot of Christmas lights, you cruise around that real quick.
Yeah.
Kind of feels like that.
Yeah, and there were some light projections and stuff like that like
okay.
Would make an area. That's what kind of themed the different areas, was like some lights.
So
Um,
it's like a walk through lights and projections little trail. That's interesting.
yeah,
Definitely not what you would expect. So this is
I
not. There's no villains here.
there right. There was like a light up Cheshire cat. So I'm not saying there were none. It just wasn't what I was expecting.
Yeah.
They were they were sections themed to villains. I think is a better overall description.
Gotcha.
I don't know if that's just my misinterpretation because I hadn't even heard of this till we got there and I saw it on the map.
It's kind of vague.
And because there was like no other entertainment, I thought this might be cooler than it was. Hauntingly beautiful is what they said. Yeah. So
Hauntingly beautiful.
yeah. And it was pretty. It's just and if we had it here and I'm like a pass holder, I would maybe like hang out in there because I do like lights and the
Oh
mist and the
yeah.
ambiance. But with this event where you've got just a couple, I mean not a couple, but just a few hours to do all these different things, I don't know. It just wasn't
Yeah.
exciting.
It's not enough. I get that. It
Yeah.
definitely seems like it definitely seems like this should either be interactive
Yeah.
or there should actually be villains in there that you can like interact with or something.
Yeah, I don't
It's
even
missing
know.
something, it
Yeah, I don't. I
feels,
can't
huh?
even like think of what else they could do to make it better. And it was like I said, it was very pretty. I don't want to like. I don't want
No,
to
I get it.
undersell it. It wasn't exciting.
Wacky.
So
Okay.
for anybody thinking they're getting, I don't know. It just was. I wouldn't even call it a must do if you're taking children and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So the lack of shows, the lack of a fireworks show was so disappointing to me that I just was really I was really shocked by it.
They didn't do like a live stage show either.
No.
That is very
They
strange.
do a Mickey's trick or treat show with like characters and it's like a dance party, but
Mhm.
it's not an exclusive.
Okay, and it's not like a
You
castle
you
or
you
like a staged
it's
kind of
it
production.
is kind of, but it's not outdoors, it's inside and it's
Oh, okay.
probably more like the Disney Junior dance party
Yeah.
situation.
And it's not for the party, right?
It's not exclusive to the party, right? It's
Right.
for all of Halloween season. You can go at any time. Yeah.
That is very strange. I would definitely expect either a fireworks spectacular or a musical spectacular.
You're paying so much money.
Right.
Like
That's why.
I expect some more exclusive things.
Mhm.
And I just cannot believe there was no fireworks. I'm just like my favorite thing about Mickey's Not So Scary Party is the fireworks show with Jack Skellington hosting.
It's amazing.
The projections, the fireworks, the audio, that Jack Skellington.
Did they project on stuff in California Adventure yet?
Only that one. It's like a building across from Carthay Lounge or Carthay Circle restaurant. They project on that.
Okay.
That's the only thing I saw projections on.
That's interesting.
And it's not really big, so
right. It's yeah. Okay.
The parade was good. It was very similar to the one we have.
Okay, cool.
It began with the Headless Horseman. My favorite float was the Haunted Mansion float. I would say I think theirs was better.
Really?
Yeah,
cool.
but they were very similar.
I like ours.
Yeah.
So I would probably like that one more.
Yeah, this song was different.
Yeah.
If I had to pick a song, I would pick Boo to You.
Well, it's ingrained in our
maybe that's
brain
the
style.
issue.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe that's why. I think Michael said he liked the song they had better.
Cool.
It's weird that I'd never heard it before because you do hear Boo to You on Disneyland's like ongoing Halloween playlist that's going everywhere. Yeah, but
cool.
I've never heard this song, so wild.
I need to listen.
Yeah.
I want to hear.
So
just a parade, huh?
Yeah, just the parade.
That is definitely a little bit of a letdown, I won't lie.
Yeah. And I mean, there are other non-exclusive things. Please bear in mind, I'm only talking about exclusive things. Yeah. There's a Coco musical show, which I guess you could kind of say is spooky season-ish, but it's not exclusive.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And then I could say that the treat trails were entertainment but we can talk about it when we is that a separate question?
Oh, actually no. So if you want to talk about them, we can. But I was definitely, when I wrote this question, I was definitely talking about like you know,
You want like Broadway.
classic
Yeah.
entertainment.
Yeah.
But like, what are the treat trails? Since I didn't write that, let's talk about that. Are the treat trails like the same setup? In Mickey's Not So Scary, generally a treat trail is an attraction or a queue of an attraction that is not really operating during the party that they use as a place to give out candy.
I'm really glad you asked it in that exact way and then explained it, because no, this is where
Really?
Disneyland wins. Okay,
Whoa.
unfortunately, I think this is the only way Disneyland wins, because,
Okay.
like I said, the entertainment thing was so disappointing. I can't get over it.
And almost no exclusive food, so they're not even trying.
There's not
for
much
half of
exclusive anything.
these.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Well, we'll get to a couple of potential advantages
yes,
that come with just
and
being a party anyway.
and I think that we're going to talk about value later, right?
Yes.
The exclusive things lends itself to value, and we'll talk about that then.
Right. All right.
Okay, so treat trails.
Yeah.
In Walt Disney World, it's like you're walking through
The Country Bear Jamboree.
or Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor, right? And
Yeah.
and the attraction's not going right now, and you're like just walking through the line and walking through the auditorium. There's a person that hands you like a piece of candy, maybe 2 pieces
Out
of
of
candy.
a big bucket.
Yes, and then you get to maybe one more person,
Mhm.
right? Maybe 2 more, or there. Anyway,
To get more candy?
yeah,
I
on
don't
the
know.
same thing. Sometimes there's at least 2.
Ooh.
So you walk out with maybe 4 pieces of candy from each like attraction,
That
and you
sounds
wait
about
in
right.
line pretty decently.
Yeah.
These have villains attached to each treat
Ooh.
trail, and so they're mostly like the villains will be on like a stage,
Mhm.
which has either been set up just for the party or it's a stage that's not being used right now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So this is what I've seen on the
Yes,
internet?
this is the
That's where you get
line.
candy?
Yes.
Oh
That's
my
what makes
God.
it so much better. So our treat trails, like, what did we do a few and then we're like, we're not doing this anymore, because you're waiting in line just to get like your fun size Snickers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I paid how much for this? And
I
I don't
know.
want to take 10 minutes to get 4 fun size Snickers.
Yes.
It just doesn't mathematically make sense.
And there is exclusive entertainment and stuff at our party that we're trying to
Yes.
get to and prioritize.
We've got 3 things we need to get to. We've got a stage show, we've got a parade, and we've
Yeah.
got a fireworks show. So that takes up the whole night, pretty much.
Basically, yeah.
And I found the treat trails at Walt Disney World's Not So Scary to be boring, to be
Unthemed,
tedious.
yeah.
And then you end up with like 4 little pieces of candy.
And the line can get pretty long.
Yes, these lines were also long, but while you're in line, you're like snaking in front of a stage that's got a villain that's a little awkwardly, I'll admit,
Mhm.
like maybe commenting on people's costumes or saying something in character. They're doing full on improv. These
Right.
people that are doing this,
Yes, and
kudos.
yeah, right.
Holy cow.
Wow, what a job.
Yeah, I unfortunately I am wildly empathetic. So
Mhm.
I spent the whole time going, oh my God, I can't believe it. Like, because people would talk back to them, and then
Yeah.
I would be like, this guy's just in a Doofenshmirtz costume. Let him go. You know what I mean? Like,
No, but he probably wants people
yes,
to
because
do the shtick.
otherwise,
Because if people aren't doing
then
the
they're
shtick,
just
it's
standing
so
there.
bad. Yeah.
Oh, the whole thing, I felt so bad for these
Yeah.
people. And so, but like
Sorry,
Michael,
I mean that was actually Hans Doofenshmirtz.
yeah,
Anyway.
the whole Michael like did not feel that way. Like we just process things differently, and he's like, oh my gosh, this is so entertaining and amazing. And I also feel like it's so entertaining and amazing.
Yeah, it's
but I'm
great.
also putting myself in that person's shoes and like freezing.
Yes, but that might not happen to everyone.
No.
I feel the same way. So like, okay, so it's really cool that they so they're trying to entertain you.
They're
while
entertaining.
you're
So the
waiting.
lines did seem a little bit longer, but you were being entertained. And then when you got to the cast members with the candy buckets, A, they're giving you more candy than they
Oh,
did at Walt
good.
Disney World. B, you go through like 4 or 6 of them.
Oh dang!
So it's
wow.
like, okay, you've gotten past the part where you're seeing Sid talk to you. You've made it through this 10-minute line. Candy, 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 candy. And then you go to the next one.
Great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So we saw Sid from Toy Story. We saw Dr. Doofenshmirtz, which was a huge thing for me because my child loved Phineas and Ferb, and I also love Phineas and Ferb. We saw Hades, who's my favorite villain of all time.
Cool.
There were, I wish I could remember all of them, but we've had a hurricane since I've been, and my brain isn't all here.
Well, that's okay.
If I saw a list, we did probably 60% of the available options, or maybe even 70%, because honestly, there wasn't much else to do.
Well, sure, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean,
in terms of like there being like Halloween stuff to do.
yes, right. I'm not there for the rides. We paid for 4 other days of tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did one ride, but if that's on your thing, I'll get there when we get there.
It is actually, well, yeah, we can get there now if you want. Something that people do at Mickey's Not So Scary is rides because I don't know, the lower crowd
Yeah.
could sometimes lead to less lines, shorter lines. Did you find that to be true at
Yes.
Oogie
This
Boogie?
is the same thing. So if you're buying a ticket to Oogie Boogie, and like let's say you live in somewhere closer, it's like road trippable, and you just want to do this for a day, you can get in as early as I think 3 with this special ticket, and I would say yes, totally ride some rides. We went on the Cars ride because that we had on the days that we did Disneyland, we had multi-pass, which is what was Fast Pass, what was Lightning Lane, Genie Plus.
Yeah.
I cannot.
I know.
Okay, anyway.
We're so deep in this now.
The name changes. I'm like, can you guys give me a few years and then just let these...
We're tired too.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know.
Let these names like all sink in before you want to change them again.
Yeah.
Anyway, multi-pass gets you essentially a fast pass to go on all of these different rides, except for there's always one ride that you have to pay extra for.
Yeah.
The Cars ride is the one you pay extra for in Disney's California Adventure.
Makes sense.
So we went on that during Oogie Boogie Bash.
Cool.
Yeah,
we
still waited like 30 minutes. Yes, and it's a better ride at night.
Ah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay. We didn't see Dr. Facility. Oh, that was the villain. Okay, never mind. I was hoping I could just easily pull up a list of the villain, but
oh, gotcha. Not so easily Googleable.
It probably is, but I'm talking and typing, and that probably means that I'm doing something wrong, and hopefully it's not talking.
No, that's good. That's okay. I mean, it's cool to know that the tree... I didn't realize that those things where the villains were interacting with guests. I thought that was just some little trail where you go interact with Hades for a minute or whatever, and that was their substitute for a meet and greet. But
no.
It's not that. It's not that at all.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, usually when you get towards the front of the line of these, it splits into 2 lines where you can either go in the line that goes up front, where you can kind of take a selfie with the villain behind you.
Love
and
that.
they'll kind of come up and pose with you, or
cool.
they'll come up and look like a jerk. You know what
Great.
I mean? Or you can go in the line that just keeps going.
Get to the candy.
Yeah, you're there for the candy or whatever. Yeah.
Cool.
And they did. I mean,
that's a great
was interactive.
Way. Yes, yeah. But also like I don't know, at our thing, you meet Jack and Sally. They're the like Halloween exclusive meet and greet, and you wait hours to meet
Your
them.
whole party is waiting for them. What in the world? Don't do that. Take a cruise. Send me an email. Take a Halloween cruise. You can see them in much less time.
The solution to your problem is taking a Disney cruise.
I'm just saying, our Disney Halloween cruise experience with character meet and greets, the lines were so much shorter than doing the Not So Scary, and it's not like it was cheaper, but it was a whole different thing.
There's
you know what
nothing.
I mean?
There's no problem you have that can't be solved.
Yeah,
with a Disney Cruise Line
it's
vacation.
True. They also did have meet and greets separate.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not saying
Halloween
those didn't also.
ones?
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Cool.
So they did have that. It just, I know you were asking earlier when you were talking about entertainment. You're talking about like a stage show, like a fireworks show, like a song and dance.
I see why you wanted to lump this into entertainment though, because
yes.
they are entertaining you while you wait for the candy, which I think is a great
and they had sets.
2 birds with 1 stone, truly.
Yes,
we
tried to see Dr. Doom
from
Roger Rabbit. Yes,
wow.
but he was on break when we got back there, so they gotta
He
take breaks.
He was dipping some poor innocent creature.
Yeah, so we missed that one.
Okay.
We missed Madame Mim. I don't know who that is.
Star Wars.
Okay.
Scary Star Wars
Okay,
guy.
well, I missed that guy.
Oh, wait, no. He's from Big Hero 6, isn't he? Yeah.
Oh, yes.
He's the
and I
villain
do love
from
that
Big
movie.
Hero 6. Sorry, we're looking at a
And
list
San
right now.
Francisco, that makes perfect sense, obviously.
Yeah.
We did see
Ernesto
de la Cruz, of course, and he was playing the guitar.
Cool.
So that was cool because...
Actually playing guitar?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, so...
That's cool.
Yeah, oh, and we saw Agatha.
Oh, Agatha.
Yeah.
I bet she was popular. People love Agatha
The Sid one was so awkward.
Oof.
Just because it's a grown adult playing a child with
and it's
braces.
not much of a costume, is
and
it?
it's not much of a costume.
Hard to
and
hide.
like I feel like maybe the audience at that moment, including me, wasn't giving him much to work with. So he kept talking about his dog, and I was like, okay. And then 30 seconds of blank air, dead air, and then I have a dog. My dog. Oh, okay.
Oh gosh.
That's when and that was the first one we did. So I was like, I feel so awkward.
Okay.
But it was wildly entertaining. Way better of a way to do a candy treat trail.
Oh yeah.
Because ours are so boring.
Yeah, I would
you
love them to do
combined
this.
Entertainment and getting candy. That's like unbelievably awesome.
Very smart. And it's set, like you were saying, these sets are cool too.
Yeah.
They're all on little sets.
Yeah. And Hades' stuff was kind of like he was being jokey, which I love.
Yeah. Like a little improv comedy routine.
Yeah.
Love that.
They're called interactive treat trails, in case anybody was wondering.
Nice. Yeah, I wish we would get interactive treat trails.
Me too.
That sounds great.
That's the one thing. That is the one thing that I really think Disney World needs to take note.
Yeah.
It's not a competition.
No.
You know what I mean? It's not like people are like, oh, should we? I don't think, right?
No.
If you live in Texas, or you like, oh, should we go to Disneyland or Disney World, which is better? I mean, Disney gets the money either way, so don't compete.
And they seem pretty different. It seems like a different vibe at each. So I don't.
Yes, but I don't. I mean, their demographic is the same, so I don't really understand why they're so different.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, I kind of like that they have their own personality. Just as someone who might experience both at some point, it's at least cool that they're
I hope
different.
when you experience it that they bring back the World of Color Halloween firework show.
Me too.
Because it's so unacceptable for them not to have a fireworks show.
Okay, got it. So I think we're answering a future question here.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. We're getting there. Another question I had, something I enjoyed. So yes, there's characters, but also part of the fun is dressing up.
Oh yeah.
As well in costumes.
Yeah.
Not everybody. A lot of people dress up in some version of like a costume.
Adults even, yeah.
Is the costume situation the same at Oogie Boogie Bash as it is as Mickey's Not So Scary?
I would say yes.
Okay, so like the general rule for Not So Scary, I think, is it can't be like inappropriate, like gory or anything like that.
Super suggestive.
Suggestive, and you can't have like floor length capes or cloaks or anything.
And you can't have anything that could be viewed as a weapon.
Right. That's
which put us on edge. I don't know if here's the the situation. If you don't mind me explaining my personal little tidbit here, we went as my husband and I went as Rogue and Gambit from the X-Men.
Okay, cool.
And then Bailey went as Wolverine from the X-Men.
Did you do a wig?
No, I didn't. I did a clip-in white streak at the front, and then I did the comic version.
I was like, how'd you do the streak?
Yes, I did the comic book version of Rogue, so I got clip-in white clips that went here, and then in the comic book, she wears a green headband.
Oh.
So I wore a green headband that covered like where the clip went.
I need pictures on the Neverland Navigation Co. Instagram, please.
You want to hear something really weird that I don't know. I don't know if our listeners care about this.
What?
But we live in Florida, and people always talk about how humidity in Florida makes their hair go crazy. Mm-hmm. But because I'm from Florida, California made my hair go crazy.
Really?
So I hardly want to post pictures, but I guess I will.
Did you get frizzy in the humidity?
Yeah, in the lack of humidity.
Oh yeah, how does that work?
I guess my hair's used to moisture weighing it down.
Wow.
I guess.
I
don't
never
know.
even would have thought of
Some
that.
hair scientist can let me know if you want to send me a message.
Oh,
but
yeah.
it was
We
crazy.
are famously not doctors, not scientists. We do not know what's going on, so that would be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, so I kind of hated the way that it all worked out.
Oh,
but
I'm sorry.
Bailey,
That's funny.
but I made a shirt like that looked like it was yellow, like that had the X-Men logo, and I had the whole thing, except for I wore jeans, not leggings, because I just didn't feel up to that.
Well, that's good. That's good.
But Bailey went as Wolverine from the X-Men, and we
Cool.
got on Amazon some fake claws
Yeah.
that like you hold,
Uh-huh.
but they were pretty sturdy, and we weren't sure they were gonna let us in with them,
Ooh.
but they did.
Oh, good. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Well, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay,
Bailey made me hold them to go through security.
just in case. Okay, so basically the rules are about the same then.
The rules are the same, and I would say the percentage of people that dress up are about the same, which
Pretty
I would
good.
call maybe 80%.
Yeah, pretty decent, huh?
Yeah. And those that aren't are wearing like Halloween shirts, so it's not like anybody's not into it. Why would you pay this much money if you're not into it?
We've seen a couple plain clothes humans,
yeah.
but it
I
is
mean, 20% maybe.
definitely the exception to the rule,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
I like that everyone dresses up.
Yeah.
That is truly some of my favorite parts.
That's part of what I love about it.
Oh yeah. When we were on the ferry boat to the Halloween party, I don't remember which time. It was so fun to just look around the boat and look what everyone was dressed up as, because it's so surreal. It's like grown people and their families and like Super Mario. It's not always Disney. Mario.
It's not always Disney, and I'm always like,
we saw Beetlejuice. I was like, where? What are you doing?
Yeah.
But it's fun. I like seeing, and especially the people who like really get up into the like.
Oh man,
there are
the people
with
that are
extravagant
extra, I'm so impressed with.
I love them. I could never be them.
Yeah.
That level of heat. Corset?
True.
3-piece suit?
Yes.
Corset?
You're right.
That's crazy.
Although you went as
who?
What's his face from Guardians, Star-Lord. That was a full-on like faux leather jacket.
And I was hot. Boy, was I hot. And did I take that jacket off?
Oh, and that was September.
Oh yeah.
It was September 13th.
On and on.
But yeah, so I would say the costumes are the same. Also, if you're a Florida local and you don't want to spend money on Not So Scary, or a California local and you don't want to spend money on the Halloween party, but you want that, like you're a pass holder, if you go before the party starts, you can still sit there and see all the people in their cute outfits.
Yeah,
it's fun.
That's nice.
That's a really, if you like people watching at all, this is like the best time to do it.
Yeah, that honestly, it is so entertaining.
Yeah,
just to watch the people go by. And
like if we ever decided not to do it, I would seriously just like do a Magic Kingdom day and then just go like hang out and sit on Main Street and watch people.
Absolutely, I would definitely be down for that.
We're always like, oh, that costume's amazing. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like people, I swear, spend 6 months making some of this stuff.
I know some of it is so intense.
Yeah.
I admire it a lot.
Yeah,
the dedication,
especially the Haunted Mansion stuff. I feel like the Haunted Mansion people really, really like go all out.
Absolutely, and sometimes they like have makeup on.
Yeah,
they
the full thing.
They're willing to be uncomfortable in a way that I am not. All right, I think I know the answer to a bunch of these, so we'll just go through them quickly. We are wrapping up here anyway.
Okay.
If money is no object, which of these parties would you do again if you could do it right now? Right when we're done with this podcast, you could go to either party for free. Which one are you going to?
Disney World's Not So Scary.
Well, that's convenient because we're close. No plane ticket required.
Yeah.
Okay, and that is because there's more on offer.
Yes.
Okay.
Because of the entertainment. Now, if your priority is the trick-or-treating aspect, then you would probably choose Disneyland.
Disneyland sounds really cool.
It is really cool. It is really cool. The trick-or-treating part of it is amazing. So like my family outside of my immediate family, like my parents and my siblings, don't care as much about shows as I do.
Yeah.
So they might choose Disneyland as their option. And
they could maybe knock out a ride.
Rides, for sure.
Like an e-ticket ride that they wouldn't want to wait a super long time for. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just depends on what you're into. For sure.
If you're more into trick-or-treating and doing the rides, then yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, definitely good to know. But yeah, we as people who enjoy the spectacle of entertainment and the having a bunch of different bad food options to pick from, I could definitely, just for entertainment alone, the value is definitely there for Walt Disney World.
The issue for me with Disneyland is there wasn't enough exclusive material. There wasn't enough exclusive anything.
Right.
So a lot, like pretty much anything except for like the treat trails, I could have done on any day that I was going to California Adventure. So that was really disappointing.
Gotcha. That definitely makes sense.
But the treat trails are amazing. So
yeah, the treat trails sound really cool.
And the lines were low. But Cars was still like 30 minutes, and that was at the very, we were like one of the last people on, so it stayed long. Like that ride,
that's pretty long, yeah.
But is wild.
But
like
30 minutes for an e-ticket attraction, it's not that bad.
No,
30 minutes is pretty good.
It's not, but it's kind of like if you're crazy like I am, then you take your ticket price and divide it by the amount of hours. And if you're spending like almost an hour, then you have to think, how much did I pay for this? Is it more than I would have paid for an individual Lightning Lane? Just saying.
Yeah, no, that's a totally fair way to look at it.
Yeah. But it's crazy, and I know it's crazy. It's just a me crazy thing.
I don't think it's crazy. It's just like a very I think a by the dollar breakdown of how much value you're getting out of something is very helpful to know ahead of time, actually. All right, so the next question on here is money is an object. Which would you declare to be the better value? I think we figured it out.
Yeah.
Walt Disney World is just offering more for the price of your admission for these parties, it sounds like.
Yeah. And if they ever got down this like treat trail situation, man, they'd be on fire.
Is that your recommendation to Walt Disney World for our party to adopt treat trails? Mine too. It sounds amazing.
It's amazing. Yeah. It's the only thing I think I would change.
Okay. That's fair. It sounds like they've got it down to a science.
Yeah.
All right. So what would you recommend to Disneyland if you could recommend them one thing to improve Oogie Boogie Bash? What do you think you would say to Mickey Mouse?
If I could just say the word shows, that might be helpful. But if I needed to be specific, I think a firework and villains spectacular is what is needed. They've had that in the past. So the people that have gone in the past and experienced that, I feel like you guys got a better value.
Yeah, that's very fair. It's weird when they take stuff away, especially for hard ticket events, and to replace it with nothing.
Yeah,
is unusual for Disney.
Yeah,
definitely.
I didn't really know what happened, but they weren't doing that fireworks show even on not days, so maybe there was something going on.
Yeah,
not an emergency situation, but I think that they had. It's shut down for some reason.
Okay, got it.
It's just if it's a planned thing, why did they choose now? I don't know.
I definitely, when I hear Oogie Boogie Bash, one of the things my mind imagines is included in the party is Oogie Boogie, at least in voice / projection form, hosting some kind of like mischievous villains, spectacular weather stage show, fireworks, projections. Something.
Yeah.
So it is a little shocking for me to hear that they do nothing.
I would have loved for them to do the fireworks show, and instead of it being hosted by Jack Skellington, their version would be hosted by Oogie Boogie. Sure. That would have been really cool.
Makes sense.
And maybe that's how it has been in the past.
Yeah.
I would say maybe I missed something, but I don't think I did.
I think you would have known 100%. Yeah, that is definitely really weird. And also just to have neither fireworks or like a stage show of some kind, really interesting. Yeah, I think that's if you're someone who's been to both, and you care about entertainment, then I'm sure everyone notices that there's no entertainment. So maybe they're banking on the fact that people haven't seen the Hocus Pocus Spooktacular over there because we're spoiled. That's an amazing live show.
It's a really good live show.
Pyrotechnics, live singing, live music, a bunch of different villains in costume form that you don't get to see all the time.
Right.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I definitely want to do these treat trails though, so I would definitely go to Oogie Boogie Bash.
Yeah.
And I'm very glad to hear that. Do you feel like you still had like a good time?
Yeah. Oh my God. Totally.
Okay,
yes.
great.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just don't know if it's something that I would pay $200 per person for my whole family to do every year, unless they add more shows.
Honestly, I think that's a really good thing to take away from this.
Yeah.
Is that it still is sounds like it's still a fun Halloween event. Just maybe set your expectations appropriately
for me,
what you're
unless
they
add something, it was a one and done situation.
Yeah.
where I could go back and see the shows and do the exclusive stuff at the Disney World one every couple of years.
Right.
I mean, it kind of depends on where you're at with like money. You know what I mean?
Sure.
If so, that's like on if we went closer to Halloween, that's $600 for my whole family. If that's nothing to you, then yeah.
Absolutely. And we'll keep an eye on Oogie Boogie Bash to see if they add more entertainment, because honestly, that's the kind of news story that we're hoping for.
Yeah.
Is Disney announces new Halloween spectacular,
Yeah.
and they may, you know.
Oh, I would put money on it. I wonder if this was a fluke year.
Yeah, could be. Maybe next year when we do this, or you know, maybe next year when we do a Halloween episode, we can update you on whether or not Oogie Boogie Bash has changed. But in the meantime, I've been delighted to learn more about Oogie Boogie Bash as someone who's never been. So thank you for sharing your details from your trip to Oogie Boogie Bash. If you guys have enjoyed this episode comparing Disney's 2 Halloween parties, thank you so much for making it to the end. If you guys would like to help support the show, you can obviously support us by subscribing, liking the video if you're on YouTube. You can also follow us on social media. We are at Neverland Navco on Instagram and Twitter, and all kinds of stuff is going up there. Stuff from inside the parks, trivia, fun facts, everything Disney. If you guys have enjoyed the show, then we would love to see you on socials as well.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We also have an Etsy shop. It's called Neverland Navigation at Etsy. And of course, like I said before, if you're thinking about taking a trip, just send me an email, neverlandnavigationco@gmail.com. Let's talk about it, because it doesn't cost you anything. And yeah, you get free shirts.
Yeah, free shirts. Nothing wrong with that. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We're going to go trick-or-treating. So until our next spook, we'll see you on our next adventure.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.